Yeah, disappointed, obviously, in the way we played this afternoon. I think it's indicative of the way this group's played this year. But I hated that that's the way we, kind of ended our season. It was one of those days we just didn't do anything well. We didn't play well on offense, didn't play well on defense. I think when you look at, clearly we didn't do a very good job getting our team ready to play. I think anytime that you don't play well, that's a reflection of the coaching staff and their ability to get the guys ready. And clearly we didn't do a very good job of doing that. And you got to give Florida Atlantic a ton of credit. You got to give Coach Spencer, obviously did a great job of holding that thing together under some tough circumstances. And I think that I think it's a real credit to him and who he is, and I think it's a real signal that those players care a lot about him and care a lot about their teammates, and because they rallied. When your coach leaves like that, there's a couple different ways you can respond to that. And their guys came out and set their jaw and really rallied and played incredibly hard. That was the one thing I thought that probably impressed me the most was just how hard their team played. And you could tell from the very first whistle that they were on a mission, and they figured out a way to get it done. So again, you got to give him a ton of credit for getting his guys ready, and they came out and performed. And like I said, obviously we didn't do as good a job as they did.
Could you tell leading up in this week that things weren't as maybe a solid?
No, I thought we practiced well. Yeah, I thought we had. You go back and you look at us. We had eight practices before we left Dallas, and felt like we really practiced well. Was really pleased with the way they worked and the work that we got done, and the development of some of the young players that took place. And then once we got to the bowl site, I thought we had a good Wednesday practice, and I thought our Friday run through was just like it normally is. And so I didn't see any kind of signs of our guys not being ready, and I don't think that was necessarily the case. We just didn't play well.
You mentioned the adversity that FAU had, and the new guys stepping into significant roles. With the new personnel, did they change up and do anything differently that obviously they hadn't done on film?
Not at all. I mean, they did the same thing. Just they played well. They made competitive plays. I think when you go back and you look at kind of what swung the pendulum, I think, was their ability to make competitive plays, on the ball. And we didn't, you know what I mean? And there were 50-50 balls, they caught them, and their guys made plays, and when we had those opportunities to do those things, we didn't. And so when that happens during the course of the ball game, all those plays add up, and you have what we had today.
It seemed like there were some procedural penalties early on, especially.
We told the officials it was going to happen. We told them that they called the snap count out. They did it in two critical situations. They didn't call it, but again, that's really not a. It's just what it is. It is what it is. I mean, obviously didn't have a big impact on the game.
Shane, what did you see out there just kind of as the game kind of got going, things were just kind of off in little ways?
Yeah, I saw everything right. I mean, it's what we planned for. They did everything that we planned for, and, we just didn't execute on our side, at the beginning. To start the game, those procedural penalties kind of hurt us and hurt our drives, and then from there, we just had to make plays, we didn't execute plays that we normally make, and when that happens, that's what happens. That's the outcome.
Now that the season's over, were you 100% down the stretch? I know everybody's battling through things, but
Like my body healthy? Yeah, I feel great. Yeah.
Do you feel like the season changed at all after Reggie kind of went down? I mean, just from your perspective, who you had to go to?
No, I think our guys did a good job of filling his spot. I think Rasheed did a really good job, and I think CJ filled his spot well too. So obviously that hurt because it's Reggie. He's a playmaker. That's what he does. He makes plays. But Rasheed did a really good job of filling his spot, and stuff like that happens in a season for every single team in the nation. So we did what we could, and I feel like we did a good job of filling that void.
Delano, what were some of the things that they did to kind of keep you guys off balance defensively?
As we just watched the game, you can see that they're moving much faster than we were. We were sometimes in the game where we were lazy. We just wasn't getting the job done. Wasn't getting off the field to get the offense back the ball. So their tempo was they were just outplaying us.
The 2 touchdowns at the end of the first half, was that sort of the turning point that opened the floodgates?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was, that was kind of the crown on top of the, of the the performance tonight. Just was the way that turned there quickly. But I thought we did a great job of coming in at halftime and talking through the things that we needed to do to go out and play. And then I thought defensively, I thought we really played well in the third quarter. We got 4 or 5 stops in a row and gave us a chance to kind of get back in the ball game. We just couldn't get anything going at that point. And then it got away from us with the fumble return for a touchdown. So, it was one of those games that, like I told them, it's a good lesson for us to learn. You know what I mean? I think that we've got to make sure that we are in the right frame of mind and we play hard. That's why we've had success this year, because we've done that consistently. And for whatever reason tonight, I don't know that we were in the right frame of mind. And again, that goes back to the preparation and the way we prepared. And the thing that we do, it's like anything else. I mean, you go and you say, okay, well, what did we do wrong? So we'll look at our preparation. We'll look at the way we practiced and what we did and how we did it, and go back and look at all those things to make sure that, again, next time we're in this situation, we perform better. And that's kind of what you always do. Anytime you're not happy with the performance, do it anyway, especially even when you are happy, but especially when you're not.
Delano, did you feel like your team was kind of in the right frame of mind in the days leading up?
Yes, I did feel like we were in the right frame of mind. We all prepared the same way like we do for every game.
How much
Anything
did,
else, guys?
And again, the thing we got to do too is like everything is we got to give Florida Atlantic credit. I mean, their guys played really hard, really fast. Told them at halftime, they were just moving faster than we were. They played with a better tempo, and the guys were moving faster. They just were really played hard and focused, and played with a lot of confidence and a lot of effort and intensity. And again, hats off to them because they responded. They responded to adversity the way you're supposed to.
Coach, you play half a dozen road games every year, of course, but
Oh.
you play half a dozen road games every year, of course, but to play a bowl game, as
Yeah.
a road game, how much of a concern? They did have comforts of home here, how much of a factor?
No, I don't think any at all. I think not. I mean, I'd love to say it was. I wish it would have been, but it wasn't at all. We just didn't do a very good job of handling our business collectively today.
You kind of use this as similar maybe to the Tulsa game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I told him in there. I mean, that's the one thing I think we're still growing as a program, and our best football is in front of us without a doubt. I think the thing that we have to do is just make sure that there's no complacency ever. You know what I mean? I think that's when you start to have a little success and maybe you haven't had it, I think that can affect everybody. It can certainly affect the coaches, can affect the players. We just have to make sure that doesn't happen. That we've got to continue to grind every single day, and improve and take advantage of every opportunity to make our football team better and our program better. And the good thing is, looking back at this, and we did have 11 practices, and we got a lot of work done with some young players, and I think we helped build the foundation of the program. We have a lot of guys coming back. We think we have an opportunity to have a really good football team. That's just not going to happen. And I think that we have to develop that kind of mindset where we can, perform when we have a target on our chest. And that's a whole different level of preparation, a whole different level of commitment, that it takes to do that. And that's why you see some teams have good years and then fall back, just because we have to learn to play as the favorite and learn to play with get attention, and we just have to learn how to handle all those things. And that's a process, and it's a lesson that hopefully we learn today.
with the early struggles on offense not resulting in points, did that lead to maybe pressing a little bit and trying to be too fine?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I think, I think when we go back and we look at the tape, we're just going to see that we just weren't in sync. What we've done well offensively all year is execute. You know what I mean? When you step back and look at what we've been able to do consistently, we've executed, and then we've made competitive plays. It didn't matter who the opponent was. And, I can't think of one that we made today. You know what I mean? And so that's the difference in a ball game. And it sounds silly, but you start adding those up, and all of a sudden it's 7 points here, and 14 points there, and 21 points there, and 28 points there, and then again we have to go back and look at why we didn't perform like we have performed up to this point. And just get ourselves better.